This is Ubuntu Radio.
A better South Africa, a better Africa, and a better world.
Today, we are honored to be joined in studio by the Ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to South Africa, Her Excellency J. Doornewald-Verhey. I hope I pronounced that correctly, Ambassador. Good day. Welcome to Ubuntu Radio.
Thank you so much. Thelma. Hlongwane, for having me here at Ubuntu Radio. I heard about it, so I'm very honored and pleased to be here. And you can just call me Ambassador Joanne. I mean, that is probably
you like
easier.
It that
yes,
way.
I like it that way.
Thank you so much. And we're so excited to have you here, Ambassador. So I would like you to begin by providing an overview of the current state of bilateral relations between the Netherlands and South Africa.
Well, I could say, okay, how long do I have? But let me just first start.
You have all the time.
Let me first start that I really want to congratulate South Africa on a very successful G20 presidency. We were honored to be there as a guest country. And for us, that really gave us a big opportunity to have my ministers here, and in the end also my prime minister here. And I think your president really did a great job because it was really like choppy waters to go across, but to have this very impressive leaders declaration. So congratulations. I want to start off with that.
Thank you.
Yes. So yes, we were honored to be there, being a strategic partner for quite some time right now with South Africa. We have very strong, we enjoy strong relationship with South Africa. We have a shared history. We have strong cultural and people-to-people connections. We share norms and values like democracy and human rights. And also I think we share a lot of trade. We are an important trading partner. Both ways. We have more than 300 companies here in South Africa, but there are also South African companies in the Netherlands. And having the big port of Rotterdam, where I think 80% of the fruit of South Africa will pass through that. So there are really strong connections. And and we hope to build upon that along the way.
And what are some of the historical ties and shared values that continue to underpin the relationship between the two countries?
Well, we indeed have a deep relationship, a historical relationship, and it stretches from the dark days of slavery and colonization through to the Dutch support for the anti-apartheid movement. There we supported really South Africa. And these historical ties that bind us together, and it's not always comfortable, but we are engaging in our past, and because we say we cannot ignore our past, and if we want to look at the future and to have really a relationship that counts and that is deep, so we need to acknowledge that and we take it forward from there. So that is one part, and then indeed the norms and values, the shared goals that we have. So we really find South Africa as a partner where we are internationally, in the United Nations, in other fora where we share rule of law, democracy, human rights. So there we see each other. So we are built upon that, and we hope to do that also in the future. So we have a human rights dialogue once a year, and it. Sometimes you're not always agreeing to that, but this person-to-person contacts are very important to explain positions.
True.
And also to understand each other and where can we reach each other. And I think it's very valuable. So we see South Africa as a very important partner on this continent. Not only the trade, but it's also politically, and right now with the G20 and the role that South Africa plays standing up for human rights. You have a beautiful constitution. So today, can I tell them? I mean, today is a special day.
Of course.
Yeah. Human Rights Day, and the big event on Constitution Hill, together with the public protector, with human rights organizations. But also, 30 years of your constitution. You have a beautiful constitution, and it's important to defend that and to stand up together. So I think a strong democracies, defending of human rights. We are a strong partner together with South Africa.
So, from your perspective, what has been the most significant achievement or areas of a successful collaboration between the Netherlands and South Africa during your tenure as an ambassador?
Well, I don't have to think much of it. I arrived in August, and I think in October I had the state visit of my king and queen.
Wow.
And that was quite something. Yes. So I mean, the team had prepared already a lot, but to receive your king and queen 3 months after your arrival, it was quite something. But they came with 4 ministers and a delegation of 300 companies and institutions. So that really was a kickstart of my tenure here, and then it's also right now to follow up on that. We had MOUs and all that, and we're still working on that. So that was an important one. But we also had on cultural, we had a major event last year, Beyond Borders, in Freedom Park. And that was like a follow-up also from the state visit, because it was to acknowledge indeed what we've done together, how we stood up together during the anti-apartheid movement. The Netherlands, I mean, as a child I remember, every town had a beweging, anti-apartheid. We had to boycott certain products. We were not supposed to eat that because in support of the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. And right now the G20 was of course to have my ministers here, to convince them to stay a day longer or come a little bit earlier, to really meet companies and to meet their counterparts, to see a little bit more of the country. And I know for sure that some of them will be back in the future to have more time and spend more time in this beautiful country. And then another very big event on cybersecurity. We work together on cybersecurity together with South Africa. So we have this summer school, and there we had more than 3,000 students online. It's free of charge, and to see that engagement, and to see how we also for the future how we can connect together and build upon these youngsters to get the expertise, and many of them found jobs with the expertise that they gained during this summer school. And the other thing is Hlongwane, the power plant, the repurposing of the power plant. So there we work together as one of the JETP, the Just Energy Transition Partner, because climate change is something that we both see that is worthwhile fighting for. And so Hlongwane, knowing that this power plant will be repurposed, but you also want to take care of the jobs and all that. So many years before it's going to be repurposed, already to start with new jobs. And there, I mean, the Netherlands being in agriculture a very strong partner, so we train people there. We build together with private companies glass houses there, or greeneries to grow vegetables and all that. So it's going to be commercial, so to train the people. So there's alternative jobs there, and that's also something like a big thing that hopefully in January, February we can kick off officially. But these are the big things, just energy transition, green hydrogen, but I mean we can talk about that later. So there are many things, but also looking back, I think the most very important thing is the incredible people. Gender-based violence is being one of those issues that are really needs a lot of attention, and there together to partner with South Africa. What can we do? Talking with the local communities, with the women to empower them. I think those I mean, we had a beautiful session with the Queens. It's amazing, especially in the rural areas, what they do, and to see how we can give them the tools to help their society, to help the women in their communities. So you have so many incredible people, and I'm feeling privileged to work together with them and to see how we can partner.
You have mentioned earlier on that during G20 you had to convince your ministers, some of your ministers, to stay a little longer and have some engagements, take advantage of this opportunity of being here in South Africa. Would you like to talk to us about some of the key engagements that happened during that period?
So we had our Minister of Energy who was here in Durban. So then she visited one of the big Dutch companies there, Vopak, who's building the first LNG terminal there in Richards Bay. So to encounter, to hear more about that. So for her to have time to know, but also a very new company starting there on batteries, to hear that and what they're telling and how they already deal with the Netherlands, selling their product in the Netherlands. So it's creating jobs. So things are happening, and so this is one of the examples that we had. Another minister indeed also visiting other we had an encounter with in Joburg that on the waste management there will be a big power plant, so you generate energy out of waste, to show that, to see, because that's just starting, but to show these kind of cases. That was very useful also for us as an embassy to have our minister here to show that what we are doing here.
Both the Netherlands and South Africa are active players in the global stage. How do the countries collaborate on international issues such as climate change, sustainable development, peace and security, and other things through multilateral platforms like the United Nations?
Yes. So we partner with South Africa. We are one of the, like I mentioned, Just Energy Transition Partnership. We are together in that partnership. So we both support the global commitments in Paris, from the Paris Agreement, the SDG 7. I think we find it both very important that decisions that were made during the COP30 in Brazil, that they are translated into actions. Aiming to reach the net zero in 2050. And we both face the consequences of climate change, the negative consequences, drought, floods, and we are both shifting from fossil fuels to renewables, and to do that in a just way, to try to see indeed that people will have jobs and an income. So that's one of the reasons that we partner with South Africa in the JETP. And then a special focus is the green hydrogen. We see that really as an important part of the energy transition. And as I mentioned, also climate smart agriculture, to use agriculture but do it really in a smart way, using your water to recycle things. There's so many new technologies that we could share and that we could really help each other, and especially here in South Africa with drought, but also with the floodings. To prepare yourself also for disasters that might come your way, with planning and all that. Yeah.
Are there any specific global challenges where the Netherlands and South Africa share common perspectives and work together to find solutions?
So that's the energy transition, so that we work together. Also whether now on green hydrogen, because I mean it's not organized in 1 year, so you really have to believe in it. You have to invest in it. You have the network needs to be ready. So to prepare for that, it takes years. And there we have also the Dutch banks, the financial institutions. We have Invest International. We have FMO. So there are big companies or big banks that are already there to finance, to help to finance, also with grants, this energy transition. So it's important that we support each other in that sense. But also on the Global Fund for the fight against HIV, tuberculosis, malaria. So I think the Global Fund came together here during the G20 last month, and the Netherlands just pledged 195 million euros in that fund, like also South Africa did. So we support these international actions. And to find answers to fight to face these challenges together. Yeah.
Ambassador, the Netherlands is a significant economic partner for South Africa. What are the key sectors driving trade and investment between the two nations?
I think the key sectors is really agriculture, the foodstuffs, but also critical raw materials. And we are one of the largest European importers of South African fruits and vegetables through our harbour in Rotterdam. And we are indeed one of the largest foreign direct investors here. So yes, as I mentioned, we have 300 companies here, very active. They together create, they just told me this week, 50,000 jobs here. You might know Heineken, Philips, Vopak. Those are all there, employing a lot of people. And also, so that's as an embassy, we really support the companies that are already here, but we also help find other newcomers find their way here, but also the other way around. to find South African companies to find their way in Europe. And they see the Netherlands like a gateway to Europe. Like we see South Africa as a gateway to the African continent. So we can find each other in that way. And we have the financial instruments to assist in that.
Well, are there any initiatives that the Dutch embassy is undertaking to further strengthen economic ties, attracting Dutch investment to South Africa and promote South African exports to the Netherlands?
Yeah, so we have Invest International that supports Dutch companies to invest in South Africa by providing them blended finance, and they are active, especially in the energy transition, but also with sustainability in mind. So there's a big focus on South Africa in that sense. But we have also FMO, that's a Dutch development bank, and they finance South African companies, South African businesses, to advance sustainable development, renewable energy, agriculture, SMEs here in South Africa. So, and then we have Orange Corners. That's also a very nice initiative. That's an incubation hub for South African young entrepreneurs who are developing new technologies in the green economy. So there's support for them as well. And then we have the Netherlands Foreign Investment Agency. So that's the agency that assists South African companies to invest or find their way in the Netherlands, and from there further on into Europe. And we also do market studies when we see like a niche or that might be possibilities. So then we have we look into it, like the critical raw materials right now, to see what we can do in the supply chain on batteries. So then we have a report with it. So then to generate interest from investors from Europe, because usually these reports are in English, to invest in South Africa.
Would you say there are any opportunities or challenges that you have observed in enhancing trade and investment between the two countries?
Of course, there are challenges. So, as I mentioned, sometimes it really takes time, like the green hydrogen. That's a long. We see it as a key area for the South African renewables potential, and also in the mining sector, we really see that we both share an interest in developing the critical raw materials, the value chain. So you can not just extract it, but really to invest in the value chain itself. And in this sense, I want to mention the mining in Indaba in February. Cape Town. I mean, right now we have almost 20 companies who will be joining us in Cape Town at that time for the mining in Indaba. So that I didn't even know that we had these kind of companies in the Netherlands. But there's a lot of not in this track, but a lot of with technology, hydraulic, in finance. So there's a lot of interest to come to South Africa. But the challenge is, I think skills development, because that's what we hear also from Dutch companies here, to find the right people. So we are also investing that to connect institutions together, and also the Dutch companies to employ youngsters to get the skills for them to get employment later on.
Ambassador, you touched on the issue of people-to-people exchange as one of the key things that enhances relations between the two. Between any countries. Cultural exchanges plays a vital role in building understanding. How does the Netherlands engage in cultural diplomacy in South Africa, and what efforts are being made to foster greater people-to-people connections?
Yes, indeed. So people-to-people exchange is very important. So our cultural diplomacy really brings together people, and we, especially I think in South Africa, where relationships are really valued. So our cultural program supports Dutch and South African artists to make work or art together. So it's also the process and being indeed to exchange and to engage together in creating something new, and co-creating something new. So we see also cultural diplomacy as very important to create spaces for dialogue. Sometimes they're really, especially with our colonial legacy here, to create a space to have that dialogue about the past. And you can do that. Culture is really a way to connect with people and to understand each other across difficult topics. So with Co-Create Identity, that's our program, we really support South African artists, and usually we connect them, we link them to difficult subjects, and then to discuss that and to create art around that. So we have Dutch activists working here in South Africa. We have South African activists, or artists I should say, not activists, artists, working in the Netherlands. We have the Artists in Residency program, both ways, here and in the Netherlands. And we work together very much also with the archives, because that's related to the heritage, and to really, like we say, right now what's being presented in the Netherlands in our National Museum is one part of the history. There's another part, and to have that other part out. So we connect with South Africans, students here at the universities, give them access to the archives in the Netherlands and also here, that we work together to get that other part of history out there in our museums. And that's indeed about the painful past, to get then about the slavery and all that. And it's very, I think it's very much necessary to have that kind of cooperation, also to take it forward to the future. So we see really, in that sense, a very close connection and cooperation that will be continuing in the future as well. But we also do, like with new technologies, you have this amazing area, the Square Kilometre Array in the Karoo, where these big, huge telescopes are there. But that area used to be the San and the people who were there.
Yeah.
To have a cultural program to engage the children. I mean, I find it very fascinating how South Africa is dealing with that, and we Dutch we cooperate in that sense. So so that's indeed people to people connect, but there's also another connection. That's the soccer. Like the Chiefs. I mean, the Kaiser Chiefs. They were last summer. We heard by accident that they were going to the Netherlands to train. So I invited them over, and we invited, I think, the end of October for the big match. So, I mean, so they engage, they go to the Netherlands to train, and hopefully they learned something, and we can learn from them as well. I saw pictures of them riding a bike in the Netherlands. So, yeah, people-to-people connections, it's so important for our relationship, and it goes very wide in the subjects.
So, how would you say the historical linguistic connection, particularly with Afrikaans as a language, influenced the cultural exchange and understanding between us?
Yeah, well, it provides a point of connection. I must say, when I arrived here for the first time, to be able to read the signs and to so we recognize the words, and I think it's both ways, but we use it differently. So for those who work with language, this is like a playground, both ways, with many layers. And so there are many exchanges between the Dutch and Afrikaans poets, for instance. And it's an extra layer of connection here with South Africa. And it's a proper language. But it's nice. I think we can talk for like 15 minutes and we still understand each other. The certain moment when it goes too fast, I have to stop. But yeah, there are a lot of words that we get the gist of the meaning. But so there's a lot of exchange in that sense. But especially in poetry, who like to play with words, there's a nice connection there. Yeah.
So, looking ahead, since you have been here for almost 2 years, you still have some time here. What is your vision for the future for the Netherlands and South Africa relationship, and what would you say are the key milestones or areas of focus that you would like to see being achieved?
Well, we have several MOUs, Memorandums of Understandings, that have been prepared. And some, I mean, this year we just concluded on migration, a very important one with Home Affairs. So I really look forward to implement those agreements both ways. So I really hope indeed in the energy transition that we can really make some miles to show this is really the way forward. But also South Africa being a regional player. So We hope to cooperate with South Africa in SADC region. South Africa chairing the SADC. The regional challenges to see where we can work together on women, peace and security and all these kind of issues. But also on coalitions. I mean, we have a long tradition of coalitions. We don't pretend that we have still ways to go, but we have like more than 100 years of experience with that. So we really want to exchange lessons on that. So we hopefully we can do that. We hope to organize a big event in February in that sense to share experiences. We bring some former ministers who worked in the Netherlands with that to exchange lessons learned. I mentioned already the just energy transition. So to really support the green transition here in Grootvlei, hopefully we really can be part of that just energy transition to make it work for everybody. And women, peace and security. We have a new program coming up, and then we really look forward to work together with South Africa, especially also here in the region.
You touched on a possible collaboration on issues of home affairs, and it prompted me to think about tourism.
Yes.
How are we doing in terms of inbound and outbound tourism between South Africa and the Netherlands?
Well, I mean, I think South Africa is a very popular. I think we just are above pre-COVID times, and everybody I talk to, they all want to come or they've been here, and that will. It's increasing the numbers, exploring the country, and I mean, in the Netherlands we are all crammed together in this small country. You have so much space here, and the most beautiful landscapes and these very engaging people. So we can see a lot of interest, and that will only grow. And then, of course, we have also I have a lot of former colleagues who just buy an apartment in Cape Town, and they told me they're called the swallows. So they follow the summer. So when it's summer here and it's winter in the Netherlands, then they will come and settle there, and then Dutch summer they will be back. No, I mean, it's just a beautiful country, and it has so many beautiful places to visit, to experience. It's not only the biodiversity and the nice wine, but the landscape, it's just amazing. And after 2 years, I'm looking forward to the next 2 years, because it has been hectic with all these visits and the G20. And hopefully next year, as of 2026, there will be more time to explore this.
Let me just put you on the spot. Have you had any opportunity to travel across the country? Which places have you been to, and what are you still looking forward to see in this country in the next few years?
Well, what made a huge impression was last year. I visited Namaqualand in the spring, with the beautiful flowers there on the coast. And we love to do the rooftop camping there, just to be there in nature and just to see this beautiful landscape. But also, of course, the Kruger and all these wildlife parks are beautiful as well. And this right now, I'm not going back to the Netherlands for Christmas. No, I invited the family here, and we will go to KZN, and I hope to see Cozy Bay, Sotwana Bay, St. Lucia. So that area. But I also love the Karoo. Then you can just drive, and this landscapes and the space, it's just beautiful. But there are many more places to discover here in the next few years. Yeah,
opportunities are endless.
Yes, they are.
Wow. Are there any specific upcoming projects, events, or initiatives that the embassy is particularly excited about and would like to share with our listeners?
No, so what I mentioned, so we will continue next year indeed with sharing experience in the coalitions and all that. It's more the political one. We will continue with our human rights gender-based violence program to really also the human rights defenders, how we can work together. And we just gave the Orange Tulip Award to one of the heroes here, those women that stand up. They are doing amazing work, and that it's very challenging. So to support those, I really hope to continue that. So, but it's not a huge event. But where it's needed, we can support that. And yes, the mining in Daba is going to be big. So there will be a lot of Dutch companies in early February. But it's not only the Netherlands; it's also Europe now. You mentioned when you kicked off our indeed the increased cooperation with Europe. What's happening right now in the world? We really share the importance of multilateralism, that we really work together. It's not about power, it's about partnerships and sharing, and multilateralism is the way forward, we think, and there we find South Africa on our side as well. Yeah.
As we draw to the conclusion of our conversation, you mentioned earlier on that you were part of the celebration or the observation of International Human Rights Day in Constitution Hill. Would you like to talk to us a bit about that and where the Netherlands stand in terms of fighting for human rights?
So fighting for human rights I think international law, fighting human rights, it's really fighting for human rights. It's in our constitution, so it's like an obligation. So we will always support countries that stand up for that, and we will continue to do that here in South Africa. South Africa, you have this beautiful constitution, and next year it's 30 years of this beautiful constitution, and I understand today that indeed that will be celebrated next year in a big way, and I hope that we can support that. Because right now there's a lot of pressure, a lot of things are happening in the world. People are really the pushback on LGBTIQ rights, on human rights, on women's rights, and then we have to stand together to defend those rights that we have accomplished. What what our moms have accomplished, and to see that being under threat, that really pains me. So to stand up to that and to find partners to fight together for that. And South Africa is there as well to fight for the rights that we have gained over the years. In this international world, so that human rights are people's rights, are women's rights, are children's rights, and we have to defend those. So I hope to continue to do that next year. Yes.
And finally, Ambassador Johan, what message would you like to convey to the people of South Africa regarding the Netherlands and its ongoing partnership with your nation?
There's a beautiful President Mandela. He visited the Netherlands in 1999, and during that state visit, he mentioned of the 3 centuries that our relationship spans, but also how complex that has been. But he also spoke about the flourishing friendship that has been developing since that time, and I think that's the key message, that we over the years we turned this relationship into something flourishing, a flourishing friendship. So I think I hope that South Africa sees it likewise, that the Netherlands is a friend to South Africa and its peoples. Let's not forget it, South Africa and its peoples in all their diversity, being women. I mean, all the peoples, we recognize them and we want to be the friends. So, and we are a reliable partner with bonds that cover societal, cultural, economic and political links. So we look forward, and we want to look forward without ignoring the past, to co-create a shared future. That would be my key message. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for such an enlightening conversation, and we wish you a continued success in your mission as the head of mission here in South Africa. We also look forward to deepening ties between the Netherlands and South Africa, and we look forward to more engagements with you as Ubuntu Radio. So if you have anything interesting that you would like to share with us, we'll be more than happy to engage with you.
No, thank you so much for having me, and indeed for me it's also to acknowledge and to see that this is a possibility. Yes. To share more information and to share where we together stand for. So I will be reaching out to you next year.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
This is Ubuntu Radio.
A product of the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, South Africa.